York studio, Maria Taylor alongside Jay Williams and Jalen Rose. And apparently the Clippers just needed a little bit of a change of scenery because it's a completely different game, up 15 on the Jazz, but down 0-2. And it starts with PG with 20 points in the first half, the second time he's done that in the playoffs for the Clippers.
His name is no longer Paul, where are you, George? It is Paul, I'm right here, George. And he came out that way in the first half, right? 20 points, but it was more so the mentality. PG being aggressive, hunting his shot, getting into his bag. Now look, unlimited dribbles is a game sometimes you play at a street court, right? If that's what Paul George needs to get going, Ty Lue, let him get going. He's been a difference maker so far in this first half.
But they still really haven't found an answer for Donovan Mitchell. In the first quarter, he wasn't aggressive. They ran a shadow double at him, and they tried to make sure they forced him left. And he accepted it in the first quarter. But in the second quarter, he was like, I'm just shooting. And he had each of his points in the second quarter, as you see him playing in the crowd, using that left hand. So they're going to need him to be more aggressive offensively. But where's Rudy Gobert?
Where is he?
Where's Rudy Gobert? They're going to need him to be big in the paint, change shots, block shots, and be a finisher.
All right, Rudy Gobert, obviously the three-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4 points in that first half. But how about the Clippers? They've knocked down 11 threes so far, or 10 threes already. They only had 11 threes in game 2, so they're shooting it very well, too.
Terrific three-point shooting by both teams. Shout out to Reggie Jackson, who's been lights out for this team.
Yeah. And look, everybody else, look, if you limit Donovan Mitchell, everybody else, you got to beat us.
Yeah.
That's the game you got to play for your Clippers.
Joe Ingles heard you. That's why he knocked down the three for you.
Into the finals.
Okay, so you're saying Nets in 5. We'll see game 4 tomorrow on ABC. All right, Perk, we're going to give you a little break on your predictions and pile on another big fella in Shaq. Remember back in January when Shaq told Donovan Mitchell he thought that he didn't have what it takes to get to the next level? Well, Anthony Puccio pointed out that since then, Spida has been on fire, averaging 28 points per game. And then in these playoffs, 32 points per game. So clearly making Shaq eat his words. But Jacoby, I want to ask you, what level do you think Donovan has taken his game to during these playoffs?
Oh, do you remember game 1 against the Grizzlies? They did not let him play. And you remember what happened the next day? There was a news story that he was mad. He was so mad that they didn't let him play. He's like, put me on the court. And you've seen what's happened in this series. 45 points. 37 points. Donovan Mitchell is absolutely tearing it up. And I don't put this out there often, but I might have to say superstar. Like, he is on that Dame, Steph Curry, point guard level. Like, he is close to that scoring point guard. I expect him to have 30. Like, 30 is the floor for him when he takes the floor every single night in the playoffs.
Dame and Steph Curry. Okay, wait, Perk, before we get your thoughts here, did you see Magic's tweet? Look at this. He said, Donovan Mitchell is a bona fide superstar. He said, we have to start mentioning his name more with the KDs, LeBrons, and Stephs. Now, that's not just superstar. That is all-time greats he's putting Donovan Mitchell in the class of. Herc, are you ready to put Donovan Mitchell in the same class as KD, LeBron, and Steph?
Yes, okay.
No.
Yes, and here's why. Let me tell you why. Because he's proven it to us, not just in these playoffs, but just think about his last 12 playoff games. He's averaging 34 points a night in his last 12 games in the postseason, including last season and the year before that. You know, the only 2 current players that done that before in their career is Kevin Durant and LeBron James. He cannot be stopped. It's a reason that the Utah Jazz finished with the #1 seed and the best record overall in the NBA. It's because of Donovan Mitchell. And we did not give him enough credit when it came down to the MVP conversation. So, yes, I'm not just talking about what he did to the Memphis Grizzlies or what he's doing right now to Kawhi Leonard, who won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, PG, who supposedly be one of the best two-way players in the game, and Pat Bev, Mr. First Team All-Defense. I'm not even talking about this year, but look at his history, and you could say he has done it on a consistent basis. Even last year when he went toe-to-toe with Jamal Murray, although Utah lost in that series in 7 games.
I think I'm going to reserve comparing him to LeBron and KD and Steph until he wins a championship. I am hearing a lot of comparisons to D Wade, though. And, one of the highlights of these playoffs has, been watching the new Jazz part owner, D Wade, giving in-game advice to Donovan Mitchell. And really, they form such a good bond and quick bond.
Dwayne Wade, one of the owners of the Utah Jazz, some words of wisdom for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, just things that he saw throughout the game. And, it's great to have, someone I call my brother, sitting courtside, just trying to help me out and find ways to improve. I'm grateful that he's able to do that. Not a lot of guys do that.
Me and Donovan have always had a special relationship. He's special. I don't want to take any credit for his performance, any credit for his success. I just want to be able to add the things that I learned from the game of basketball.
Growing up as watching when he was on the Heat, just being Flash, being able to take a lot from this game and kind of break it down and getting to know him on a personal level.
We talked on the phone for 2 hours. I don't talk on the phone with nobody for 2 hours. And he just picked my brain.
Donovan Mitchell is proving himself to be one of the true superstars in this league. And he's doing it on the biggest stage.
Now, guys, D Wade had his breakout performance come during the 2006 finals, where he was 24, just like Donovan Mitchell. 27 a game in the regular season, 28 a game in the playoffs, on the way to Miami's first championship. So many similarities, and the fact that they're now around each other at this point in Donovan Mitchell's career is pretty incredible. But Jacoby, how do you feel about the nickname, or what people are calling Donovan Mitchell in D Wade 2.0?
I think it's a little bit unfair. I don't see them as the same player. I think that Donovan Mitchell actually does more with less. Donovan Mitchell is probably 3 inches shorter than Dwayne Wade, but he still gets to the rim. He finishes with his knuckles at the backboard, and he can shoot the three from deep. He's a 3-level scorer. Donovan Mitchell's doing a lot more with less height than Dwayne Wade ever did in his career. Not to take anything away from Dwayne Wade, who's obviously a Hall of Famer and a legend, but I think that Donovan Mitchell, in his own right, carries this team in a way that Dwayne Wade never had to when he was with the Heat, because he always had a co-star.
What do you think about that?
I got a question to you, Cassidy and Jacoby. Look, so how we all say we starting to throw around that word superstar so much, right? And we don't like to throw that word out. I don't have a problem with it. You know why? Because it is a lot of rising superstars in this league. Now, to me, it's a separation of superstars and megastars. And I want to get your opinion on that, because I think some of these young guys are superstars. Like, they are filling up arenas. People are going to watch them play. They are putting up superstar-type numbers. But I think it's a difference from superstars to megastars. And I just wanted to get your opinion on that and tell me what y'all felt about that.
Well, I think really it comes down to just a changing of the guard. I mean, LeBron, KD, Steph, they're not done yet. But what we're seeing right now in these playoffs is that this next generation is ready. Ready and in line to take the throne. And we're going to see that this in these playoffs. I mean, maybe the Nets will win and that'll be KD. But we could possibly see a team led by Donovan Mitchell or team led by Devin Booker, young stars winning their first championship and solidifying themselves as that, not just next, but here and now, Jacoby.
I think to answer Kendrick's question is, you can't be a megastar if you've never been in the conference finals. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, they lost to Jamal Murray in the Nuggets last year. He's having a great series right now, but let's not start putting megastar on him yet until I've seen him in the NBA Finals. I want to see the finals on the floor with his sneakers on top of it until I start putting names like megastar and superstar to Donovan Mitchell.
My bad, Jacoby. Maybe I worded that wrong, but I wasn't calling him a megastar.
Oh, I know you're asking the question.
No, yeah, so what I was saying was it's only 3 megastars in the NBA, in my opinion. That's Kevin Durant, that's Steph Curry, and that's LeBron James. To me, that's the only 3 megastars in the NBA. Meaning megastars are, and you could tell by the way that they have shoe deals. They got $500 million shoe deals. You could tell that's megastar, right? Superstars is a tier under that. And I feel like it's okay to throw that name around because these guys are actually putting up superstar type numbers.
Agreed.
I think you make a point that pool of superstars is growing, and the league is in a very good place. And tonight we're going to see, I think, someone who definitely deserves to be in that category of superstars, but of the older generation, that's Kawhi Leonard. And then this guy, he has the mentality of a superstar.
Are the Clippers done, in your opinion?
I think they are. I don't think they beat Utah. Well, first of all, it's not fair for me to even say it like that. What I mean is I picked Utah to win this series before it began. So I'm certainly not going to pick them to lose 4 of the next 5 games.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. And the reason why I said that is because of 3 things, not necessarily in this order. They have a big-time perimeter defender in Royce O'Neal who can chase ball handlers around and chase stars around. They have an elite reigning defensive player of the year, frontline defender in Rudy Gobert. And they have a superstar. Make no mistake about it. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. He's the kind of guy you can sit up there and say, here's the ball. Take us there. When everybody knows it's you, when everybody knows what you're going to do it, when everybody can imagine how you're going to do it, and they still can't stop you. It is official. This brother, after what he did last year, remember, sent Russell Westbrook and Paul George home in the playoffs a couple of years ago. And so breath smelling like Similac wet behind the ears, he pulled that off. Last year, he put on the show against Denver and Jamal Murray and the boys, even though they lost in 7 games. This year, he is 6-0. They are 6-0 when he is in the starting lineup. He is averaging 32. In this series, he's averaging 41 on 52% shooting. He is giving it to the Clippers. He is outshining Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combined.
MVP of the playoffs right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Donovan Mitchell, when he ended with 37, I was disappointed.
Listen,
he had 37.
You were like,
I was like 37. I thought he was going to go for 60.
You're like, at least get in the 4s.
Listen, y'all.
That's how good he is.
Listen, y'all, and understand what else he's doing. If you're Steve Ballmer, the owner for the billionaire owner, multi-billionaire owner for the Los Angeles Clippers, building a new arena in Inglewood and all of this other stuff. If Donovan Mitchell takes your Clippers out, guess what, Max? Let Kawhi go. Let him walk. Let him exercise his option and go elsewhere. Because now you're talking about your best chances with LeBron James home. You're talking about this is arguably the Clippers' best chance to win the chip. If last year wasn't, certainly this year was.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it done now you're talking about retooling, rebuilding, trying to establish a culture. You can't establish, as big time as Kawhi Leonard is, you can't establish a culture with a dude that you've got to exercise load management with so excessively. So I'm just saying.
Can they win?
I'm just saying. The magnitude of what Donovan Mitchell is doing to these Clippers cannot go unnoticed.
And it's certainly not going unnoticed. It's the headline.
Yeah.
And by the way, Donovan Mitchell, most points, I believe this was before even this last game, to start a playoff career in the first 28 games, whatever it was. MJ, number 1, greatest scorer of all time. Wilt, number 2, second greatest scorer of all time. I think Donovan Mitchell's now 3rd on that list. MJ, Wilt, Donovan Mitchell.
Max, he's already the best player in Jazz franchise history.
Yeah,
ahead of Karl Malone and John Stockton.
When it counts?
He's already better.
Counts,
he's already better.
Over.
Yes.
Karl
Malone and John Stockton. Yes. They were never him.
Okay.
Ever.
I just want to make sure everyone's hearing all these bold things that are
when
happening.
the lights shine brightest,
block.
I agree. Donovan Mitchell's clutch factor is next level. But the Clippers can still win this series.
Okay,
sure
tell us why.
Sure they can. First of all, Stephen A., I have a question for you. Who won the first 2 games of the Clippers-Mavs series this season?
Mavs.
Who won the first 2 games in 2016 of the finals? Cavs-Warriors. First 2 games of Cavs-Warriors. Who won the series, Clippers-Mavs, this year?
Clippers.
And who won the Cavs-Warriors series
Cavs.
after falling down to 2? Who was the coach of the Clippers this year and of the Cavs then? Ty Lue.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's happening? Do you know why they're losing these games?
Great points.
They're on the road, okay? And they're getting the brakes beaten off them in the 3rd quarter. What's the 3rd quarter? Coach's quarter. You need to tell me Ty Lue can't make adjustments? Now, that's on the road. Every series ever played the road team either does what the home team either does what they're supposed to do and defends home court, right? Or the road team wins a game and it's like, uh-oh, the home team just messed up, right? The Clippers are going to have to win a game on the road. They're going to have to defend home court and win a game on the road. Can they do that? Yes, they can. Do they have the right coach for it? Yes, they do. Furthermore, Bogdanovich outplayed Kawhi Leonard on both ends of the floor last night. How many more times is that going to happen? Kawhi has bad games, all superstars do, but Kawhi is a clutch killer. You think he's going to let Bogdanovich outplay? He didn't let Luka outplay him all of last series. You think Bogdanovich is going to?
You're missing the point. Great points notwithstanding, you're still missing it. You see, when you have a superstar like Donovan Mitchell, and he's outshining you as a player, you can come back. But in the end, unlike Luka Doncic, he's got Bogdanovich, he's got Ingles, he's got Jordan Clarkson. They've done it without Mike Conley.
That's what's scary. No Mike
Conley.
Conley.
They've done it without Mike Conley. You have a perimeter defender in Royce O'Neal who's all over the place. All right,
I love me some Royce O'Neal.
It wasn't just Bogdanovich defending. It obviously was Royce O'Neal. Not only that, unlike against Dallas, you have someone on the interior that's telling you, you better stay out there and shoot them damn jump shots. You know what they have to do to make a presence in the interior? They have to bring in DeMarcus Cousins. And let's be fair to DeMarcus Cousins. He's no scrub.
He scored a couple times too, right?
When DeMarcus Cousins was healthy, he was averaging 28 a game.
Yeah.
Let's not forget
Highly
that
skilled
about this
scoring
brother.
and passing.
It's injuries that ravaged his career. He can play, okay? So let's understand this. When you look at it from that perspective, in terms of everybody else, the Utah Jazz are saying we're going to contest every shot on the perimeter of a Kawhi, of a Paul George. We're going to make, Reggie Jackson can drop his 29, but we're going to make somebody else beat us. On the interior, you ain't getting anything in here unless you go big boy, and that's not what the Clippers want to do because they're the best shooting team collectively in the NBA. And then on top of it all, you got Donovan Mitchell having help, and they can't guard him one-on-one.
Therefore,
they can't guard him one-on-one.
And by the way, he's not like
Ty Lue had to go to a zone.
How many times is Ty Lue going to, at a certain point, no Patrick Beverly for Rondo, and there'll be other things that he adjusts.